Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. Good. Um, so I see John, you're on here. I'm glad. So you're a seasoned agent. I hope, I wonder if everybody else is. Have you done any transactions yet? Okay. Thank you, Harper. Um, so I'm just going to go over and tell you how, when you do have a transaction, that you can get paid faster. Okay, a lot of times my job is to check everybody's documents, make sure everything's okay, return those documents to you if something's wrong so that you can correct it, resubmit it, and then all this done before closing. Okay, I just had an agent say, "Hey, I closed on a house. What documents do you need?" It's like, you haven't submitted anything yet. So he will probably delayed in getting paid for several days. So don't do that, please. I'm going to share my screen, and it's just going to show my command and what I do. So just a minute. And you guys should be seeing my screen. Okay. So can you see it? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So what I do is I go through all of these documents that you have submitted. Don't forget to hit that submit button when you put any documents in there. Um, what I do is I have all these documents here. You can see the number of documents over here. So I click on the submitted folder, the resubmitted, and the changed folders. Okay. And that's what I check. So anytime you go in, you've submitted something, and then you go in and add something else, that automatically changes your status to changed. So you don't have to resubmit at that point because I check those anyway. Um, so the only time you really have to do anything is if there's an open status, that means it won't come through to me. Okay. So you have to hit that submit button to do it. So anyway, so that's that, but you have to get all the documents right. So in your, okay, this is something new now. We're going to start using this consultation folder, especially, well, this is only on the buy side in South Carolina and North Carolina. The consultation folder is used for the working with real estate agent or the agency relationships, brokerage relationships, and the buyer's agency agreement. Okay. Which now you have to have before you go and show a property. So you have to have those two signed before you go and show a property. That's all going to start August 1, but Sabra and Tasha encourage you to start doing that now so you get in the habit of it. Okay. So you before you even show a property, you have to have that working with real estate agent or the disclosure of brokerage relationships and the buyer or listing agreement. Okay. Those have to be signed and those should be submitted, and they can be submitted in this consultation folder. Okay. So those two documents only. And those have to be submitted. Now, this is the law that they have to be submitted within 3 days of signing. Okay, so you're going to submit this consultation folder to me within 3 days of them signing that agreement. Okay. And put it in the, then you're going to put it in the consultation folder. Okay, so that's something new that we're starting that now, since we have to have that before you show a property. Okay. There isn't a consultation folder for listing agreements, so just submit that when in the listing folder. Okay. But this is a buyer's folder. And then you submit all the rest of your documents here. As you can see, it's a whole bunch. It's going to repeat having you upload the brokerage relationships or working with real estate agent and the agency agreement. Okay, so I don't know if that's ever going to change or not. But if it does, whatever. If you don't put that in there and it's in the consultation folder, I won't tag you on that. Okay. And then all the other documents you put in here, and all these other documents should be submitted at least 7 days before closing. Okay, so everything else that you have completed should be submitted within, or at least 7 days before closing. That way I have time to check it. I have time to send it back to you, and you have time to correct it, all before closing. Okay, so you want that done before closing, because once everything is complete, and you've got all your documents in and they're all the consultation is approved, the under contract is approved, and the closed folder is approved, then you can, then that goes to Lynn and she can pay you. Okay, so if any of these are returned and you haven't corrected any documents, then that delays your payment. Okay, so on this one, let's just, as an example, on this, let me ask you, do you have any questions first?
Are these documents going to be updated for the 2024?
Yes, they should be in DocuSign updated. Now, I know
Okay.
I had a conversation with Sabra the other day, and she said that she was having difficulty with that. So it might be a little bit delayed. If so, if they aren't in there, you're going to have to pull them from zip forms. Okay.
Okay.
They're all in zip forms.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, they should all be updated. So, so I go through and I make sure everything's completed on your correct and completed on your documents. Now you'll notice that this one was returned, and so I went through it. I checked whatever wasn't right about it, and then what I do is I put this little thing in it, and I tell you exactly what's wrong with the document on what page. Okay, so how will you see that? You'll look here at this little dialog box. It's a red dialog box next to the placeholder. You just hover over that and it'll show you what's wrong with the document and what you have to do to fix it. Now, there could be several things on there. Make sure you correct all the things on there before resubmitting it. Okay? Otherwise, I have to return it again, and we just keep playing tag that way. Okay? So that's how you'll be able to find what's wrong with your document. Okay, so now in your opportunity that you've created, you'll notice that they have required conditional and some say optional. Obviously, the ones that say required are required. So you need to get those in there for some compliance, okay? The other ones are conditional. Obviously, if you're selling, if you're buying a condo, then you can look over this little the little I in the circle, and it'll tell you why it's conditional. Okay. Dual agents. This is South Carolina. They have these separate dual and designated agency agreements. Obviously, if one agent is representing both parties in one transaction, okay, then you're going to need that form. Okay, so just make sure that you have everything, especially that's required. And then anything that's added either onto the offer to purchase for North Carolina or this agreement to buy and sell, the attachments or what is included with this offer is always right here, the attachments. And if something's written there, I'll look for that document. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. So in the in the offer to purchase that's in North Carolina, it'll be page 11 or 12 now, and it'll have check marks, usually by additional provisions, FHA addendum, lead-based paint, whatever is included. If it's checked on the offer to purchase, then I'm going to look for it. Okay, so I look down into this list, and this wasn't marked in the offer to purchase, but maybe this was a later thing, but I'll look for that. I'll look for the FHA if it's checked. Okay, so make sure you have all those. Okay, again, there's a lot that's required in North Carolina, or both of them, for the buyers, especially now that we have the septic and sewer and water disclosure, with professional services disclosure, and the two documents from Heritage and Carolina Gold are the title insurance selection form and the affiliated business disclosure. Those are all required. The other thing that's now required, especially if your agreements, either the listing or the buyer agency agreement, is the 2023 form, then you need to have this agency agreement. It's called the Agency Agreement Amendment and Disclosure. Okay, it's a brand new form, and Tasha went over this yesterday in her class for the new forms. This brings the current offer to purchase, or not the offer, the buyer's agency or listing agreement, up to date for the NAR ruling. Okay, so this is, if you do your buyer agency or listing agreement on a 2024 form, the new form, then this is not needed. Okay, this just brings all the older forms up to date. Any questions on that? Okay, good. And Tasha is doing her classes. I hope you guys are all getting that. I'm going to be participating in those because those are important for this new ruling stuff and how we're going to handle buyer agency agreements. Okay, so the receipt of money is the acknowledgement of a receipt of the earnest money or due diligence. So obviously, she's missing something here and she's missing the due diligence. If they're on two separate forms, like you've had the seller sign for the due diligence, and then the attorney comes by or the escrow agent sends you another form on a separate, a separate page 17. You can either combine those, which is the best way to keep them organized. However you do it, I have a little program that my tech guy, my husband showed me how to use, which combines the forms, which is kind of cool. Or you can add it down here, okay, which is additional documents. And you do that by you click on these three large dots in this shaded area. You see these over here to the right? Click on those dots and add a document. So the document name will be, you can say EM receipt or acknowledgement. Okay. And then it also has to be a type. I don't know why they have that in there. I don't care what the type is, document type, whatever you want to put in there. Okay. And then add that document here and click save. Once you do that, it'll show up at the bottom. So they added form number 715, that agency agreement here, even though there's a placeholder. So if that happens, please look for the placeholder first before you add it, because it gets really confusing, because I'll look here, I'm going to say, oh, you're missing that. But then you added it to the bottom, okay, when there was no reason to go through all that. Okay. So same thing with the FHA. She put it up here. And then added it down here. It's a little different document. But anyway, so there's no reason to add a document when the placeholder's already here. Okay. Especially in North Carolina, if there's an agreement to amend or due diligence, something like that, in North Carolina, you put those documents in the closed folder. Okay. So these are all the closing documents. Think of, when you do an agreement to amend, you usually have to send it to the attorney. So anything that would go to the attorney or come from the attorney would go in the closed folder, because it has to do with closing. So the agreement to amend is usually like something in lieu of repairs, or they're changing the settlement date, or changing expenses, which is something that you'd have to tell the closing attorney anyway. Okay. Is that any questions?
No, I want to apologize. I had a bug and I couldn't unmute my microphone, but I finally got it fixed.
Oh, okay.
But no questions. It's great. It's good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you. I just
good.
wanted to review with the new forms, and I thought it was a good time to get a refresher and everything.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing right now is that agency agreement amendment. Don't confuse that with agency agreement renewal. I don't know if that's it's usually in the, oh, here it is. The agency agreement renewal and amendment is when you want to extend the expiration date or change the listing price or something like that. That's what that's about. But this new one, the agency agreement, amendment and disclosure has to do with the new NAR ruling. And that's the one that's needed every time. Okay. So that's what you're gonna get. That's what it'll be. And once I check these, it's changed. So she's added something or changed something updated it. Then I'll go by and I'll either approve it or I'll return it. And then she'll have to correct whatever else needs to be corrected. Now, when I do that, I'm going to tell you in the brief little note that I give you, that I'm going to ask you to replace the rejected document and add the missing document. And I'm not going to tell you because you're going to look in there and you'll see. Okay, I won't go into detail there because it's going to be in detail here. Does that make sense? So any of the red is missing and this other type of red is returned. And like I said, look in that little dialog box and you'll know what's wrong. Okay. So if you're looking, you just taking a glance, first opening your command, you'll know automatically if you have a note from me or any of the leadership team by up here. Right next to your name is that little bell. And in that, if there's a red dot in that bell, that means you have a message. Okay. So you would click on it and all these messages will come up. Hopefully not this many. I'm sure it won't be this many. So, he's asking me a question. A lot of these are just that they've submitted a review and we've just started getting those and they're kind of useless, but I do check for any questions that somebody has directed to me. So this one, and this is how you can do it too. Look at that note and you'll see what needs to be done. And then you can just say, view the message. And what'll happen, it changes and goes right to your opportunity. Okay. So he's asking if Form 715 was not required until August 1st. And I'll tell him, no, it's required now. Okay. So that's how you'll know you got a note. I think it comes through your email as well.
Yeah, it does. I remember you're helping me. I want to let Harper know that you're a fail-safe because this is also, there's a lot here and it can be overwhelming. And
Yeah.
anything that happens, you do it through the bell, or I believe you send it in an email and then you tell us exactly what to do. So
Yeah.
it's a really good system.
Good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. So I think, like you said, I think it comes through your email too. So, but just go to your opportunity then. So once it's all approved, and I would do this at least 7 days before closing. This is like the most important part. You have your signed CD and all that in there. If it's a listing, you want the MLS sheet and the KWLS. Have you, we are still doing this. I'm not sure how long we're still going to do this because I've been told that this is being taken away. It would be nice if it was because it's kind of a pain. So what you do to get the sold KWLS is you start another screen and you go to mykw.kw.com. mykw.kw.com. You can do it goes to the same screen because you're going to the intranet. So it's this old, we used to use this, I don't know what for. coaching and education, and I think it had our numbers in there. I don't think we use this anymore, but the only thing you do have to use it for, if you're doing a listing, is you have to update your KWLS. The KWLS is the Keller Williams Listing Service, and it works in conjunction with our Canopy MLS. So, but it's a little delayed when it updates them. So if you go into KWLS and then you find your listing, okay, so you have to put your name and you put the street number or the MLS number, something to identify it by, and then you're going to hit search. Okay. Shoot. Oh, let me do something. I'll just use somebody that I know is going to be in here. Okay, so here she has all of these. Okay, you get the one that you want to change. This is the listing that you just sold. So you click on it, and then down at the bottom, I don't have access to her stuff, so there will be an edit button down at the bottom. Click on the edit button, and it'll make all these fields changeable. So you're going to put the current or the sold price in the current price. And then the listing status, you're going to put sold. Okay. Usually if it will say pending, we can't accept that. It has to be sold. Okay. Once you're done there, click down and hit save. And then right click and save as or print. I always print it to a PDF. Okay. Click that page into a PDF. Then once you're done with that, you go back to your opportunity and you're going to browse. And then find that whatever the KWLS, whatever you named it. And then click on that and that will save that. Okay. In the closing statement, if the termite letter, if it says termite was paid, termite inspection was done, we'll expect with the buyers to have a termite letter. Okay, so if it's itemized in the closing disclosure, then we'll expect to see it down here. So if the termite inspection is listed on the CD, the report must be signed by the buyer if that's your client. Okay. So pretty easy. So you've got all that done. And again, I like to say, if you know it's going to close, if it's not closing date or within 7 days or whatever, if you know it's going to close and no changes are going to be made, then the most important thing for you to get paid is to do this offers tab. Okay. So this one's already done. So, John, I'm sure you've done the offers before. So you have to go through and just follow the prompts. Excuse me. It's going to ask you the price, cash versus finance. If you know the exact breakdown, you can do that. But a lot of times, if any part of it is financed, I'll put it all on the finance amount. Okay. And then the earnest money amount, I think that's all it asks. There, it's going to ask you for the the listing agent or the co-agent that you're working with, and then the seller's names. Okay, so once you go through all this offer, you have to accept that offer. Okay. This is for, you can have more than one offer. So if you have like 3 different offers on the property that you're selling, you can put every offer in here. But you're only gonna accept the one that you accepted, okay? So that's what that's for. It can kind of keep track of all the offers that you've gotten on the property. And sometimes you need that these days because there's a lot of offers. But once you have hit the accepted status, that you accept that offer, then it's going to prompt you to do the commission. Okay. And I think it'll say manage commission on here. I know this recently changed too. So it might say a little bit different, but you're going to just go right into your commission. Okay. Then the commission, excuse me, is something like this. You're going to be filling in all, well, not the closed volume and all that, but you'll be the contract date, the close date, and if there's any concessions or anything else, bonuses even, that you add that in there. Just follow the prompts, but remember to hit submit or whatever it says to accept, approve, or something. Hit that because that's when it goes to Lynn. Okay. If you just leave it open, she won't see it. So you have to click that next button, which is either approve that commission or submit it or something. Okay. That's when it goes to Lynn, and she'll be able to give you a transaction ID number now. Okay. And once you have that, then that's how you'll get paid. Okay, so when you give her that check, she'll look that up. She'll look it up in the opportunity, look that number up, and compare it with what the check is from the closing to what you've done. And you'll get paid within a day. Okay. So that is one of the most important ones to do. And I have to tell people quite frequently to submit your commission request. I do that quite frequently. And so it delays your closing. Okay. Do you use DocuSign? Yeah. Okay. DocuSign is good because it's free for us. So you go into DocuSign. The one thing that I always like to do is in DocuSign, when you're in a room, you want to make sure that you're seeing or you have everything completed on the form. So you know how you sometimes have to go and so if you go to a room and sometimes you have to fill everything out on the form manually. But if you go to this detail section before you do any forms or documents, fill out this detail section as much as you can. You hit the edit button, which will allow you to change things. So I only have my email. So I would put on every listing agreement and buyer agency agreement, we need the name, the phone number, your email, and your current mailing address. Okay. Okay, so complete that. So, and then you can save it. So what happens there, that's going to automatically fill in for you with every form that needs it. Okay, so listing date, put a date on there, we'll say it's the 19th, then that date will populate on the form, rather than you having to go and put it in there manually. So that's very important to do that. With a buyer or seller, you need the name, phone number, email, and their current mailing address. For listing, it might be the same address, but that's okay. Put it on there anyway, because that's how Sabra or Tasha look up if there's some kind of thing, some kind of litigation or a problem that she needs to address to that seller or buyer. She'll just look on the agency forms, and she'll get the numbers from there. Okay. After you've completed all, as much as you can on here, hit save. Okay. Then you can go to the documents, and when it says form, that's when you've gotten it from the DocuSign forms. If it's a PDF that you've downloaded from your computer, then you'll have to manually do that anyway. Okay. It just automatically pre-fills the DocuSign forms. Okay, so on here, if I did a listing agreement, it's pouring down rain up here, so everything that I've put in the detail section is going to be on here. Okay. And on this screen, you can add something. Okay. So if you need to add something, you can add it on this screen only in the form. Okay. So anything you need to add, put it on there. You'll have to, anyway, just keep doing that. And then once you're through, you save and close it. And that's when you can click here, put it in an envelope, and send it off for signatures. Okay. You both know how to do that, right? Any questions on that? So, like I said, starting, the forms are available now, North Carolina forms. I don't think the South Carolina forms are quite available yet, but they will be, I think, by August 1st. I think you can get drafts of them now, but not the actual document. So that's that in a nutshell, how you do that. A lot of times, let me see here. Oops. If I go to my command, and I'm going to go to my opportunities. In your documents. So if you have to add one, you know how to do that from, if you can attach files from DocuSign, right? And the room docs. So it automatically connects with DocuSign that same room, okay? So if I were here and I wanted to add something, here's all my documents in the room. Now, a lot of these, it's all of the documents. So it's going to be the unsigned form and the signed forms. All the certification of signing. So you have to differentiate them in DocuSign. So what I do sometimes is once the document is complete and it's correct, I'll right click in DocuSign and I'll rename it. So instead of the exclusive right to sell, I'll put fully executed. So I know that's the one I want to choose out of that list in Command. Okay. So if you save it, you'll know it's this one. Okay. So then you're in Command and you go and here, there's the fully executed. Okay. That's the one you would upload. So anything to differentiate the blank form from the signed form will be helpful to you. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, in a couple months, I'm gonna have a land deal, I hope, where
Okay.
I'm not going to represent the buyer. And I'm not gonna represent the seller because they're both representing themselves, but I'm basically facilitating a transaction. So I'm not a buyer agent, I'm not a listing agent. Would I just go in here to other at the bottom? Or would I just go to the land folder for pre-filled documents? Or, because I don't know if you remember that last one I did in Rock Hill, where Sabra was like, well, this, you're not a buyer's agent, you're not a listing agent.
Yeah.
And then she worked it out with Lynn and figured out something. I'm sure you were involved in that. Is there anything I can do to make that easier, or should we just do it when it happens?
I would do that when it happens. Let me look. I don't remember how that went about though. I can't remember. I remember something like that because I thought, well, how in the world are you doing that? Oh, I put address.
Yeah, I'm still not even sure how they did it. But I know you guys figured it out, and maybe that's why it's not in there. Because it's not it wasn't a normal transaction.
Okay. Yeah, because you're not going to have either agency agreement. But you'll get paid.
Yeah, you guys did that, and there were a lot of questions on from one of the folks that I work with, one of the buyers, because the contract was sold to a different developer, and they didn't understand it either. So I just want to make sure I'm doing it all up front and correct. And so I guess, should I call you, or should I just do it as additional documents and then let you figure it out with Sabra, or because basically the developer said, John, I don't want you representing me. He said, I'm paying an attorney incredible amounts of money, and I've already got a 27-page document that all kinds of terms, and if the land doesn't get approved, then we cancel. If it does get approved, but he has all these different options. And he said, I want to represent myself through my attorney. All I want you to do is find land for me. So I'm literally a transaction coordinator. I don't think that's the right word.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm facilitating a transaction. I'm putting two parties together, which doesn't fit into any of those categories.
Yeah, yes. But you were able, I mean, you submitted something. Wonder why I can't find you on here.
I think I submitted just the compensation agreement, something that just said, if I find this land and I gave the exact address,
Oh, yeah,
you'll pay this percentage, and I did it on
Okay.
both sides.
yeah,
And those are the only documents I had, and somehow it worked.
okay, okay. Yeah, how about, once you get into that deal, just let me know and then we can work it out, see what we can do.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Um, okay. So is there any questions, any other questions that you have relating to how to get paid faster?
Not for me. That's good,
Okay.
good stuff there.
Thank you. Yeah, so my thing is submit it early. And if you have to submit often, go do that. You know, if you have a couple documents and you want me to check them, just hit submit or resubmit or, whatever. Because I have been pretty caught up. I'm not sure. I had to help my sister this morning, so I'm a little bit behind, but I can catch up with it within a couple days. So, just, get those documents in early. Make sure you have the right documents. Now, don't forget to switch to the 2024 documents.
Okay,
Okay,
great. Thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.